Hello, Joseph. We're going to read Six Dinner Sid. This is a great story about a very cheeky cat. I like this one. Oh, this is your book. It's got your name in it, Joseph. So you probably know this one. Sid lived at number 1 Aristotle Street. He also lived at number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6. How can you live at all these different houses? Sid lived in 6 houses so that he could have 6 dinners. Each night he would slip out of number 1, where he might have had chicken, into number 2 for fish, on to number 3 for lamb, mince at number 4, fish again at number 5, rounding off at number 6 with beef and kidney stew. And by the time he's had 6 dinners, he's looking very full indeed. He's a very naughty kitty. Since no one talked to their neighbours in Aristotle Street, no one knew what Sid was up to. They each believed the cat they fed was theirs, and theirs alone. But Sid had to work hard for his dinners. It wasn't easy being 6 people's pet. He had 6 different names to remember, and 6 different ways to behave. When he was being Scaramouche, Sid put on swanky airs. As Bob, he had a job. He was naughty as Satan, and silly as Sally. As Sooty, he smooched, but as Schwartz, he had to act rough and tough.
All this work sometimes wore Sid out, but he didn't care as long as he had his 6 dinners, and besides, he liked being scratched in 6 different places and sleeping in 6 different beds. In fact, life in Aristotle Street was just about perfect for Sid until one cold, damp day he caught a nasty cough. The next thing he knew, he'd been taken to see the vet. Poor Sid, he was taken not once, not twice, but 6 times. He went with 6 different people in 6 different ways. The vet said Sid's cough wasn't nearly as nasty as it sounded, but to be on the safe side, he should have a spoonful of medicine. Of course, Sid didn't have just 1 spoonful of medicine. He had 6.
There.
Ugh. Now, one black hat does not look much like another, but nobody, not even a busy vet, could see the same cat 6 times without becoming suspicious. Sure enough, when he checked in his appointment book, the vet found 6 cats with a cough all living in Aristotle Street, so he rang the owners at once. And, oh dear, Sid was found out. When they discovered what he had been up to, Sid's owners were furious. They said he had no business eating so many dinners.
They said in future they would make sure he had only 1 dinner a day. Poor Sid. But Sid was a 6 dinner a day cat, so he went to live at number 1 Pythagoras Place. He also went to live at numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Unlike Aristotle Street, the people who lived in Pythagoras Place talked to their neighbours. So right from the start, everyone knew about Sid's 6 dinners. And because everyone knew, nobody minded. Did you enjoy that, Joseph? That's a great story, I think.
Okay, Joseph, hello. This is the story that I really liked when I was little. It's called Peepo. It's about this baby who sees lots of things. So I'm going to start reading it. Maybe Grandma will read some pages as well. So, Peepo. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, stands in his cot. What does he see? Peepo. So look there, you can see the view from what he sees. If you look there. He sees his father sleeping in the big brass bed and his mother too, with a hairnet on her head. He sees the shadows moving on the bedroom wall and the sun at the window and his teddy in his ball. There you go, look, you can see the picture, what he sees. Do you want to read the next page, Grandma?
Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits in his high chair. What does he see? Peep-o! He sees his mother pouring hot porridge in a bowl, and his father in the doorway with a bucket full of coal. He sees his sisters skipping in the yard outside, and his grandma begging washing on the clothesline to be dried.
Thank you. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits in his pushchair. What does he see? Peep-o! He sees a bonfire smoking, pigeons in the sky, his mother cleaning windows, a dog going by. He sees his sister searching for a jar or tin to take up to the park and catch fishes in.
Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits on the grass, and what does he see? Peep-o! He sees his sisters fishing with a brown stocking net, and dresses tucked in knickers, and legs shiny wet. He sees the tassels blowing on his grandma's shawl, and the fringe on the pushchair, and his teddy, and his ball.
Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits on his sister's lap. What does he see? Peep-o! He sees his grandma ironing, his father pouring tea, his other sister squabbling. She wants him on her knee. He sees his mother dozing in the easy chair and a dog in the doorway who shouldn't be there.
Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, sits in his bathtub. What does he see? Peep-o! He sees his father kneeling with his sleeves rolled up, and the flannel on the table and the soap in a cup. He sees his nightie warming on the oven door, his sisters in the clothes horse, puddles on the floor. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, on his way to bed. What does he see? Peep-o!
He sees the landing mirror with its rainbow rim and a mother with a baby just like him. He sees the bedroom door, the cot made ready, his father kissing him goodnight, his ball and his teddy. Here's a little baby, 1, 2, 3, fast asleep and dreaming. What did he see?
And first of all, we're going to have the tiger who
Don't
came
touch
to
the
tea.
table.
I know you know this one. Once there was a little girl called Sophie, and she was having tea with her mummy in the kitchen, and suddenly there was a ring at the door. Sophie's mummy said, "I wonder who that can be. It can't be the milkman because he came this morning, and it can't be the boy from the grocer because this isn't the day he comes, and it can't be Daddy because he's got his key. We'd better open the door and see." Sophie opened the door, and there was a big, furry, stripy tiger. The tiger said, "Excuse me, but I am very hungry. Do you think I could have tea with you?" Sophie's mummy said, "Oh, of course, come in." So the tiger came into the kitchen and sat down at the table. There he is, sitting down at the table. Sophie's mummy said, "Would you like a sandwich?" But the tiger didn't take just one sandwich. He took all the sandwiches on the plate and he swallowed them in one big mouthful. And he still looked hungry. So Sophie passed him the buns. But again, the tiger didn't eat just one bun. He ate all the buns on the dish. And then he ate all the biscuits and all the cake, until there was nothing left to eat on the table. So Sophie's mummy said, "Would you like a drink?" And the tiger drank all the milk in the milk jug and all the tea in the teapot, and then he looked round the kitchen to see what else he could find. There's Sophie hugging the tiger. He ate all the supper that was cooking in the saucepans and all the food in the fridge, and all the packets and tins in the cupboard, and he drank all the milk and all the orange juice and all Daddy's beer, and all the water in the tap. And then he said, "Thank you for my nice tea. I think I'd better go now." And he went. Sophie's mummy said, "I don't know what to do. I've got nothing for Daddy's supper. The tiger has eaten it all." And Sophie found she couldn't have her bath because the tiger had drunk all the water in the tap. Just then Sophie's daddy came home. So Sophie and her mummy told him what had happened and how the tiger had eaten all the food and drunk all the drink. And Sophie's daddy said, "I know what we'll do. I've got a very good idea. We'll put on our coats and go to a cafe." So they went out in the dark, and all the street lamps were lit, and all the cars had their lights on, and they walked down the road to a cafe. And they had a lovely supper with sausages and chips and ice cream. And in the morning, Sophie and her mummy went shopping, and they brought lots more things to eat. And they also bought a very big tin of tiger food, in case the tiger should come to tea again. But he never did.
Hello, Joseph again. All right, so we're going to read you another story. Astrid's going to tell you what it is.
Yeah. So this book is called The Smartest Giant in Town. There you can see the giant. He's too tall to fit on the book. So I think my dad's going to start reading off the first page. That's
Okay.
right.
The smartest giant in town. George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patched up gown. "I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town," he said sadly. He's a bit scruffy. He's got a funny old bit of
It's a
cloth
bit like
that he
a
wears.
dress.
Yeah.
Look at the other smart
Everybody
ones.
else is very smart.
Yeah. Wonder what he's going to do. Sure, we'll find out soon enough. But one day, George noticed a new shop. It was full of smart clothes. So he bought a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds up the side, and a pair of smart shiny shoes. "Now I'm the smartest giant in town," he said proudly. So look, there's the smart shirt. And if you don't notice there were cufflinks to hold his shirt sleeves in. Smart pair of trousers, the smart belt with a very nice gold buckle, the smart stripy tie, the smart socks with diamonds on them, and the smart shiny shoes. Must look very smart. George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. On the pavement stood a giraffe who was sniffing sadly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my neck," said the giraffe. "It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long warm scarf." "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his stripy tie. "It didn't match my socks anyway," he said, as he wound it round and round the giraffe's neck. It made a wonderful scarf. "Thank you," said the giraffe. As George strode toward home, he sang to himself, "My tie's a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down. I'm the smartest giant in town." So look, he's taken off his tie and wrapped it around the giraffe. But look, if you see here, there's a poster just there saying "Missing Giraffe." I think that might be Missing Giraffe. And also there's a lady giant there, if you can see. Right, you need the next page, Dad.
George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat, who was bleating loudly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my sail," said the goat. "It blew away in a storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat." "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his new white shirt. "It kept coming untucked anyway," he said, as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. It made a magnificent sail. "Thank you," said the goat. George strode on, singing to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." He's not quite so smart anymore
because
because
he doesn't have a shirt
he's
or
got
a
rid of
tie.
his posh shirt and his tie.
so he's just wearing a vest and trousers. George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice. They were all squeaking. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's our house," squeaked the mother mouse. "It burnt down. Now we have nowhere to live. I wish we had a nice new house." Poor them, the house is burnt down. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. "It was giving me blisters anyway," he said, as the mouse and her baby scrambled inside. The shoe made a perfect home for them. "Thank you," they squeaked. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat is a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse, but look me up and down, the smartest giant in town." He's definitely not very smart anymore. He's lost one shoe, he's given away his shirt and his tie. I don't think he is the smartest giant in town. George came to a campsite. Beside a tent sat a fox who was crying. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my sleeping bag," said the fox. "I dropped it in a puddle. I wish I had a warm, dry sleeping bag." "Cheer up," said George, and he took off one of his socks with diamonds at the side. "It was tickling my toes anyway," he said as the fox snuggled into it. It made a very fine sleeping bag. "Thank you," said the fox. George hopped on, singing to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat is a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse, one of my socks is a bed for a fox, but look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." Do you think he's smart?
Not quite as smart as he was.
No, he may still be a little bit smart, but not that smart. Shall I read the next page?
Yeah.
George came to a big squelchy bog. Beside the bog stood a dog who was howling. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's this bog," said the dog. "I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud."
Hugo's here. Do you want to come and sit with us while we finish the story? Because we're making a little film. Can you just... No, because we're making it at the moment. You come and sit and then Joseph can see you. No, don't get on there, mate. Hugo,
Why?
off the bed because I don't want it to unbalance. That was Hugo.
I
Don't
wish-
touch anything, please.
"I wish there was a safe drive." "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his smart new belt. "It will squash my tummy anyway," he said as he laid it down over the bog. It made an excellent path. "Thank you," said the dog. The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on, singing to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat is a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse, one of my socks is a bed for a fox. My belt helped a dog who was crossing a brook, but my trousers are falling down." The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on, singing to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat is a sail for a goat, my shoe is a house for a little white mouse, one of my socks is a bed for a fox. My belt helped a dog who was crossing a brook, but my trousers are falling down. I'm the coldest giant in town." Suddenly George felt sad and shivery and not at all smart. He sat on one foot and thought, "I'll have to go back to the shop and buy some more clothes," he decided. He turned around and hopped all the way back to the shop. Look at poor George, just in his pants and vest.
That's chilly.
Yeah, very cold. But when he got there, it was closed. "Oh no," cried George. He sank down on the doorstep and a tear ran down his nose. He felt as sad as all the animals he had met on his way home. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a bag with something familiar poking out the top. George took a closer look. "My gown," he yelled. "My dear old gown and sandals." George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. "I'm the coziest giant in town," he cried, and danced back home along the road. Outside his front door were all the animals he had helped. They were carrying an enormous present. "Come on, George," they said. "Open it." George untied the ribbon. Inside was a beautiful gold paper crown and a card. "Look inside the card, George," said the animals. George put the crown on his head and opened the card. Inside it said, "Your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, your shirt's on a boat is a sail for a goat, your shoe is a house for a little white mouse, One of your socks is a bed for a fox. Your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. So here is a very fine crown to go with the sandals and gown of the kindest giant in town. Look, there's a letter and all the pictures.
Everybody was very pleased, weren't they, with
Yeah.
how he'd helped them. So that's the end.
I hope you like that one.
Right.
Joseph.
So we will make a couple more a little bit later on. We'll see you soon. Bye. Right, hello Joseph again. We've changed rooms and we're going to read another story for you. And this one is called The Elephant and the Bad Baby. And it's one I remember reading when I was small, and maybe your mummy remembers reading when she was small as well.
Yeah, look, you can see the elephant and there's a little bad baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we hope you enjoy it. I think Astrid and I will share the pages as we go along.
Okay, we're going to start now. Once upon a time, there was an elephant. You can see the big elephant there, look. I wonder if you've ever seen an elephant, Joseph.
Oh, maybe at London Zoo. And one day, the elephant went for a walk and he met a bad baby. And the elephant said to the bad baby, "Would you like a ride?" And the bad baby said, "Yes!"
So the elephant stretched out his trunk and picked up the bad baby and put him on his back, and they went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road. Look, can you see the elephant going rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter?
And the bad baby has red hair, so it makes it
Yeah.
easier to see him.
You can see.
I think it's a he, isn't it?
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
Very soon they met an ice cream man, and the elephant said to the bad baby, "Would you like an ice cream?" And the bad baby said, "Yes!" So the elephant stretched out his trunk and took an ice cream for himself and an ice cream for the bad baby. And they went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream man running after. There we go, look. The ice cream man's running after them. See, they're eating their ice creams.
And Astrid, I think you should tell Joseph why the ice cream man is cross and running after the
Yeah.
elephant.
You see, the ice cream man is cross, Joseph, because the elephant hasn't paid. He's just taken them without asking.
Uh-oh.
Looks
Stealing,
like
that's called.
Looks like they're in big trouble. Next, they came to a pork butcher's shop. And the elephant said to the bad baby, "Would you like a pie?" And the bad baby said, "Yes!" So the elephant stretched out his trunk and took a pie for himself and a pie for the bad baby. And then rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream man and the pork butcher both running after. There we go, look, they're stealing again. Naughty.
Very naughty.
And look, can you see that lady's hat, Joseph? Doesn't it look a lot like a pie? Just like where you can buy the pies.
Next, they came to a baker's shop, and the elephant said to the bad baby, "Would you like a bun?" And the bad baby said, "Yes!" So the elephant stretched out his trunk and took a bun for himself and a bun for the bad baby, and they went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream man and the pork butcher and the baker all running after. Look.
And that lady's hat, again, it looks suspiciously like a cake. Like the
Does.
other lady's looks like a pie.
Strange that, isn't it?
Yeah. Next, they came to a snack bar. And the elephant said to the bad baby, "Would you like some crisps?" And the bad baby said, "Yes!" So the elephant stretched out his trunk and took some crisps for himself and some crisps for the bad baby. And they went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream bag and the pork butcher and the baker and the snack bar bag all running after.
Yeah.
Look,
Lots of angry people.
yeah, look, and the snack bar man's holding a fly water
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be one of those
burger thing.
egg slice, burger flipper. That's right.
Yeah.
Next, they came to a grocer's shop, and the elephant said to the bad baby, "Would you like a chocolate biscuit?" And the bad baby said, "Yes!" So the elephant stretched out his trunk and took a chocolate biscuit for himself and a chocolate biscuit for the bad baby. And they went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream man and the pork butcher and the baker and the snack bar man and the grocer all running after.
Naughty
And
elephant.
this little boy has seen what's going on because he's
Yeah.
grinning.
And his mother's very cross.
Yeah. Well, I don't think she's noticed.
No. Next, they came to a sweet shop, and the elephant said to the bad baby, "Would you like a lollipop?" And the bad baby said, "Yes!" So the elephant stretched out his trunk and took a lollipop for himself and a lollipop for the bad baby. And they went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream man and the pork butcher and the baker and the snack bar man and the grocer and the lady from the sweet shop all running after. Look, doesn't that look a very nice sweet shop? And again, look, that little boy's noticed, but the lady hasn't because she's busy getting some other sweets. I think I would like that sweet shop. Would you, Joseph?
Next, they came to a fruit barrow, and the elephant said to the bad baby, "Would you like an apple?" And the bad baby said, "Yes!" So the elephant stretched out his trunk and took an apple for himself and an apple for the bad baby, and they went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream man and the pork butcher and the baker and the snack bar man and the grocer and the lady from the sweet shop and the barrow boy all running after.
Whoa, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's too many, I think.
Yeah, they seem to all be tripping over themselves, look.
I think there's going to be an accident.
Probably. Then the elephant said to the bad baby, "But you haven't once said please." And then he said, "You haven't once said please." And then the elephant sat down suddenly in the middle of the road and the bad baby fell off. And the ice cream man and the pork butcher and the baker and the snack bar man and the grocer and the lady from the sweet shop and the barrow boy all went bump into a heap. Look, you were right, there is an accident.
Crash.
Poor them.
I think probably the elephant's bottom is quite soft though.
Yeah, but it will be quite hard and big.
Maybe.
And the elephant said, "But you never once said please." And the ice cream man and the pork butcher and the baker and the snack bar man and the grocer and the lady from the sweet shop and the barrow boy all picked themselves up and said, "Just fancy that. He never once said please." And the bad baby said, "Please, I want to go home to my mummy."
He's feeling very sorry for himself now.
Yeah, I would. So the elephant stretched out his trunk and picked up the bad baby and put him on his back, and they went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream man and the pork butcher and the baker and the snack bar man and the grocer and the lady from the sweet shop and the barrow boy all running after. When the bad baby's mummy saw them, she said, "Have you come for tea?" And they all said, "Yes, please." So they all went in and had tea, and the bad baby's mummy made pancakes for everybody. Then the elephant went rumpeter, rumpeter, rumpeter all down the road with the ice cream man and the pork butcher and the baker and the snack bar man and the grocer and the lady from the sweet shop and the barrow boy all running after. The bad baby went to bed.
Bad baby went to bed.
Yeah. I think that might have been a dream. All of that might have
I
been a
wonder
dream.
that. I think maybe
Yeah.
the whole story was just a dream that the bad baby had.
Because look, there it's in grey.
Because it's a little bit improbable, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it makes for a very good story.
Okay, we're going to check that now, and if
Yeah.
it's good, then we'll do another one, okay?
All right, we hope you enjoyed it, Joseph. See you soon.
Slinky Malinky. Slinky Malinky was blacker than black, a stalking and lurking, adventurous cat. He had bright yellow eyes, a warbling wail, and a kink at the end of his very long tail. He was cheeky and cheerful, friendly and fun. He'd chase after leaves, and he'd roll in the sun. But at night he was wicked and fiendish and sly. Through moonlight and shadow he'd prowl and he'd pry. He crept over fences, he leapt over walls, he poked into corners and sneaked into halls. What was he up to? At night, to be brief, Slinky Malinky turned into a thief. All over town, from basket and bowl, he pilfered and pillaged, he snitched and he stole slippers and sausages, biscuits, balloons, brushes and bandages, pencils and spoons. He pulled them, he dragged them, he heaved them until he carried them home to his house on the hill. One rascally night, between midnight and 4, Slinky Malinky stole more than before. Some pegs and a teddy bear dressed up in lace, a gardening glove from McCafferty's place, a tasty old sneaker, a smelly old sock, and Jennifer Turkington's pottery smock. A squishy banana, some glue and a pen, a cushion from Oliver Tulliver's den. A clock and some bottles, a pair of blue jeans, a half-knitted jersey, a packet of beans. He pulled them, he dragged them, he heaved them, until he carried them home to his house on the hill. Then Slinky Malinky, rapscallion cat, piled them up high in a heap on the mat. The glue toppled over and gummed up the pegs, the jersey unravelled and tangled his legs. He tripped on the bottles and slipped on the sock. He tipped over sideways and set off the clock. Crash went the bottles, beep beep went the clock, row 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 went the dogs on the block. On went the light, bang went the door, and out came the family. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, they all said, what a criminal cat. Tomorrow we'll have to take everything back. With a tangled up middle and glue on his face, Slinky Malinky was deep in disgrace. Never again did he answer the call when moon shadows danced over garden and wall, when whispers of wickedness stirred in his head. He adjusted his whiskers and stayed home instead.